Stop. Just stop for a second. Before you scroll, I want you to look at this. This tiny, innocent-looking berry, the one you've been told is a superfood, a gift from nature. What if I told you that, combined with three very common things probably in your kitchen or even in your mind right now, this berry becomes a catalyst for something else? Not just indigestion, but a deep systemic breakdown, a slow erosion of your vitality, your clarity, your very life force. People think they understand health, but they're only looking at the surface. They aren't seeing the unseen war happening inside their own bodies, inside their own spirits. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this journey today. Don't click away, because the third and final thing you should never ever mix with the purity of your potential. It isn't even a food, and understanding it will change everything. I promise you that. Primal knowledge. Let's get something straight right now. This isn't just another health tip video. We are not going to talk about micronutrients and flavonoid counts in the way you're used to. That's kindergarten stuff. That's the information they give you to keep you busy, to make you feel like you're in control, while the real mechanisms of your energy, your health, your inner power remain a total mystery to you. We have to go deeper. We have to go back. Before the noise of modern science, before the confusion of a million different diets, our ancestors understood something primal, something we've completely forgotten. They knew that what you eat isn't just fuel, it's information, it's code. Every bite you take is a message you send to every single cell in your body, and in turn, to the very fabric of your consciousness. A blueberry isn't just a fruit. Think of it as a drop of pure, unadulterated potential. It's a condensed sphere of sun, clean water, and earth packed with ancient intelligence. When you eat one, you're not just getting antioxidants, you are consuming a promise. The promise of clarity, of vitality, of a body that functions with the effortless grace of nature itself. It's a sacred contract you're making with your own well-being. So if this berry is so powerful, so pure, why are so many of us still feeling tired, foggy, and disconnected? Why are our bodies and minds screaming at us with inflammation, with anxiety, with a deep sense of spiritual exhaustion? It's because we are unknowingly, systematically corrupting the message. We are taking this pure, powerful code and mixing it with static, with noise, with poison. It's the combinations that are silently destroying us. The problem isn't the blueberry. The problem is what you're allowing to touch it. This is the foundational truth you need to grasp before we can move on. You are not just a machine that needs refueling. You are a living ecosystem. And introducing the wrong elements into that ecosystem, no matter how pure your initial intention, can and will create chaos. It's the law of nature, and it's happening inside you every single day. Empty promise. Okay, let's talk about the first one. The first food you must stop combining with this potent life force. On the surface, it seems so innocent, even healthy. It's what we were taught to consume for strength, for calcium, for comfort. It's dairy, specifically high sugar, processed dairy. Think about that sweetened fruit yogurt you believe is a healthy breakfast, or that big glass of milk you pour over your granola and berries. The problem here isn't just about the dairy itself, though for many that's a whole separate issue of inflammation. The real insidious problem is how its properties chemically and energetically interact with the purity of the blueberry. On a physical level, the proteins in dairy, particularly casein, can bind to the polyphenols, the very compounds that make blueberries so powerful. It's like putting a cage around the magic. The dairy acts like a greedy warden, locking up the antioxidants and preventing your body from ever truly accessing them. You think you're getting the benefit, but you're not. Your body is being robbed. You are swallowing potential and passing it right through you, completely unused. But the physical aspect is just a shadow of the deeper, more dangerous metaphysical truth. What does this combination represent in your life? It represents the empty promise. It's the act of taking something pure, something true, an inspiration, a moment of clarity, a goal, and immediately drowning it in cheap, easy sweetness. The sugar in that yogurt, the lactose. It's a quick hit of pleasure, it's comfort, it's the path of least resistance. And we do this exact same thing in our lives every single day. You have a brilliant idea, a blueberry of pure potential that could change the course of your career or your life. But instead of honoring it, instead of sitting with it and giving it the space it needs to grow, you immediately mix it with the sugary dairy of distraction. You scroll on your phone. You seek validation from people who don't understand your vision. You chase the immediate comfort of staying the same, because the real work of bringing that idea to life feels hard. You are taking your divine potential and neutralizing it with the addiction to cheap dopamine. Every time you do this, you're teaching your soul that its deepest callings aren't worth the effort. You're telling your spirit that immediate, fleeting comfort is more valuable than profound, lasting fulfillment. You are consuming a lie. You're eating the promise of health while actively participating in a ritual of self-betrayal. So I'm asking you, truly, where in your life are you mixing your blueberries with high-sugar dairy? Where are you taking something sacred and true and smothering it with the easy, sweet, and ultimately empty promise of mediocrity because it feels comfortable? This is a devastating pattern, and for so many, it's a completely unconscious habit. It's the first saboteur you must eliminate. Stop neutralizing your own power. Hidden thief. Now we move to the second combination. This one is far more subtle. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing because the food we're about to discuss is, on its own, incredibly good for you. It's healthy, it's vital, and that's what makes this pairing so treacherous. The second thing you should never eat with blueberries are foods that are exceptionally high in iron. Think of a big bowl of spinach, or iron-fortified cereals and grains, or even for some, red meat. Now, on a purely biological level, high concentrations of iron can interfere with the absorption and efficacy of the flavonoids and antioxidants in the berries. The iron essentially acts as a competitive blocker. It monopolizes the pathways that the blueberry's nutrients need to use, effectively sidelining the very magic we're trying to absorb. Both are good, but together they cancel each other out. One wins, one loses. And in this battle, the deep, healing power of the berry often loses. But what does this mean for us on a human, spiritual level? This isn't about just separating your spinach salad from your berry dessert. This is about understanding the archetype of the hidden thief. The iron represents strength, structure, logic, and relentless force. It is the raw material of industry, of blood, of physical power. It is the masculine, unyielding principle of doing. The blueberry, on the other hand, represents intuition, wisdom, subtle energy, and the divine feminine principle of being. It's the visionary insight, the creative spark, the gentle healing that happens in stillness. What happens when you combine them thoughtlessly? You create an internal war, the relentless demand to do more, achieve more, be stronger, push harder. The iron, it completely overshadows and blocks your ability to access your intuition, your inner knowing, your blueberry wisdom. Think about our modern culture. We are obsessed with iron. We worship at the altar of hustle, productivity, data, and logic. We are told to grind, to force our way to success, to fortify our lives with more tasks, more goals, more relentless action. And then we wonder why we feel creatively bankrupt, spiritually empty, and disconnected from our own hearts. It's because we are mixing our berries with iron. You have a moment of profound intuitive insight, a creative idea that feels like it came from the heavens. And what do? You immediately try to force it into a spreadsheet. You smother it with logic. You demand that it prove its monetary value before you even allow it to breathe. You take the gentle, subtle wisdom of your soul and you beat it into submission with the hard, cold hammer of your rational mind. You are letting the thief of practicality and logic steal the magic from your life in plain sight. This isn't to say iron is bad. Strength, structure, and action are essential, but they must be in service to vision, not in competition with it. You must first consume the blueberry. You must first honor the insight, the stillness, the quiet voice of your soul. Let it land, let it integrate, give it space. Only then, once the wisdom is firmly rooted within you, do you bring in the iron of action to build a structure around it. The modern world teaches you to do this backward. It tells you to build the iron cage first and then hope a blueberry might magically appear inside. It will never happen. You will end up with a strong, empty cage. You must separate them. Honor the subtle first. The gentle is far more powerful than the brute. Protect your intuition from the tyranny of your own relentless logic. Final truth. We're here. We've talked about neutralizing your potential with cheap comfort. We've talked about blocking your intuition with brute force. But this third and final combination, this is the one that underpins all the others. This is the source code of self-sabotage. And as I promised, it has nothing to do with food. The most dangerous thing to ever combine with your potential, with your life force, with the sacred promise of your own becoming, is doubt. Specifically, your own self-doubt. That is the ultimate poison. It's a poison you manufacture yourself, and it's more destructive than any physical substance on the planet. I want you to visualize this with me, with every fiber of your being. You have a moment of pure grace, a win. You finish a project. You have a beautiful, loving interaction. You look in the mirror, and for a fleeting second, you see your own divinity. You have just consumed a perfect, beautiful blueberry. You feel the potential surging through you. And then, what do? You immediately, without a moment's hesitation, mix it with the acid of doubt. Was it really that good? I'm sure I could have done better. They were probably just being nice to me. I got lucky, it won't happen again. I look okay now, but tomorrow the illusion will shatter. That is the ritual. You take in pure light, and you immediately chase it with pure poison. It's a habit so deeply ingrained, so automatic, that most of us don't even realize we're doing it. It's the most tragic act of self-harm, and it's happening on a psychic level billions of times a day across the planet. Why do we do this? Because in a strange, twisted way, the doubt feels safer. Your potential is terrifying. Your true power is a vast, unknown territory. Stepping into it means leaving behind the familiar identity of the person who is struggling, the person who isn't good enough. That identity might be painful, but it's known. Doubt is the anchor that keeps you tethered to the shore of the familiar. It's the invisible force that ensures you will never have to risk finding out how powerful you truly are. It's the mechanism that neutralizes every single blessing you are given, turning it to ash in your mouth. Unlike dairy, which blocks potential, or iron, which overshadows it, doubt chemically transmutes it. It takes the gold of your experience and turns it into the lead of your trauma. It's a form of reverse alchemy. So when I say never eat blueberries with doubt, what I'm giving you is not a health tip. It is a spiritual commandment. From this day forward, you must create a sacred pause. When you experience something good, something pure, something true, when you consume a blueberry moment, you must stop. You must consciously refuse to introduce the poison of doubt for at least a few minutes. Just sit with the purity. Let the nutrient, the code, the message of that good thing absorb into your cells, into your spirit, without a chaser of self-criticism. This is the hardest work you will ever do because your ego will fight you tooth and nail. It will scream that you are being arrogant, that you are being delusional. It will do anything to maintain the status quo of your own perceived smallness. You must learn to see that voice not as truth, but as the final, desperate gambit of your own fear. Your potential cannot coexist with your doubt. One must starve the other. So this was never about blueberries, was it? You knew that from the beginning. This was always about you. It was about the sacred, beautiful, wildly potent thing that is your own life, your own soul, your own potential. And it's about the subtle, invisible ways you have been taught to diminish it, to neutralize it, to poison it from the inside out. You've been mixing the divine promise of your own spirit with the empty promises of a world that wants you distracted and numb. You've been silencing the gentle wisdom of your own heart with the noisy, iron-fisted demands of a culture that values productivity over presence. And most devastatingly, you have been taking every single drop of grace you've ever been given and immediately corrupting it with the insidious voice of your own self-doubt. The cycle has to stop. It stops now, not tomorrow, not next week. It stops in the silence after this video ends. The choice becomes conscious now. From this moment forward, you become the fierce guardian of your own inner ecosystem. You protect your potential with the ferocity of a mother protecting her child. You refuse to mix the sacred with the profane. You honor your moments of clarity. You listen to your whispers of intuition. And you consciously, deliberately starve the voice of doubt until it has no power left. Your life, the real one you came here to live, is not in some distant future. It is waiting in the space you create when you stop consuming the poison. It's waiting for you. Consume it purely. It's all that matters. Now you decide. I'm speechless. I have a blueberry and Greek yogurt smoothie every single morning and take my iron pill with it, thinking I was being so healthy. I also take blood pressure medication. This video feels like it was made specifically for me. Thank you for not just telling us what to do, but explaining why in a way I can actually understand. I'm calling my pharmacist tomorrow. You may have just saved me from a serious problem. Has anyone else been making all three of these mistakes like I was?